Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Sumi and I'm the owner and illustrator of themochicloud, and today I wanted to give you an overview on how to print and cut some printables that are available from my shop. And if you have come directly from a video link available in my printing instructions document, this is the right place. And I wanted to preface this by saying that this particular video would be applicable for anything that you are purchasing from me as a dashboard option. So anything that is a printable dashboard, you can use this video as a tutorial to help guide you in printing, cutting, and eventually even hole punching some of these dashboards. I do plan to have dated or undated inserts later on, and for that I will make a separate tutorial because that would be slightly different from how this instructions would go about. So without further ado, I'm going to show you how to print this from the PDF file that is available in my shop, and I'm just going to switch the perspective a little bit right now. Okay, so we are on my computer right now, and I'm sorry for the lighting. I am filming this late at night, and if I turn on this light, it's just going to be really bright. So I'm just gonna keep that, turned off for now. So this is the file that you get when you purchase this particular dashboard from my shop. Along with this file, there would also be a printing instruction, and that is what I'm translating right now into this video. Depending on the program that is available on your computer, it might open up in a specific program, or I would definitely recommend installing the Adobe Acrobat Reader. It is a free software, and I will provide the link for that in the description of this video, and also the link will be provided in the instruction file as well. And what Adobe Acrobat helps you to do is it gives you more accuracy when you are printing, and it also allows you to scale your documents to the exact size that you want to do. It is not necessary. There are ways to counteract it, but I would definitely recommend using Adobe as your PDF reader for printables. We have opened the file, and we're just going to go here and click File and Print, and this particular dialog comes up, and my printer is the Epson 3760, and what we're going to do is we're going to make sure some of these settings are selected. So you select your printer. You can print however many copies you want, but I would always recommend to start with one copy and make sure that you do a trial and error on what setting of your particular printer prints the best type of paper. Depending on how your printer behaves, you can also tweak your print settings to make sure that it is printed at the best quality. So once I have my printer selected, I'm going to select custom scale at 100%, and this would be printed on a standard letter sized paper, and that is what this illustration is made for. It is made as a personal wide insert, but it is meant to be printed on a letter sized paper, which is 8.5 by 11 inches. You cannot print this on an A4 paper. There will be slight variations when you print on any other paper apart from the letter paper. And another thing that I would also like to add is this printable is meant to be printed on letter paper and not any pre-cut paper. So if you have A5 paper and the printable is meant for an A5 size, that's also not going to work. So you need letter paper, just saying that. Okay, so I have selected the printer, I have selected my custom scale to 100%, and I'm just going to make sure that my printer is at its best quality setting, and I'm going to feed it a 100-pound cardstock, which is not very thick. I would definitely recommend good quality paper, but I generally use 100-pound cardstock for any dashboard or inserts that I'm using for my personal use. So we're just going to click, before clicking on print, I'm just going to click on this printer, and it's just going to give me a dialog box basically saying, the print setup will now take me to the actual printer's dialog box, and do you want to continue? I'll just click yes. And from here, I'm going to select color. I don't want it two-sided right now. I'm going to set my media type as plain paper and just going to give it the best setting and then click on print. So let me click on this, let me feed the paper, click on print, and let me show you the print that comes out of it. All right, so we are back from my printer, and this is the batch that I printed on 100-pound cardstock paper. This is not bright white. The paper is not bright white. So, and I don't mind having this kind of paper in my planners as a dashboard because I use them for personal use. But if you print on better quality, such as linen paper or ultra glossy paper, it will definitely show a difference. But I really like how this has come out. We're gonna go and cut this. So as you can see, there are trim marks provided, and I'm going to show you how to cut this with a paper cutter and in a way that you don't lose the trim marks all the way out. So give me 1 second. I have this, this is actually pretty old, and I did purchase this from Amazon long back, and this is, I think, work lion. And what this is basically is just a paper cutter which has a small blade on this side, and you can just slide it through and just cut the paper depending on where your trim mark is. And what I typically tend to do is I don't swipe all the way out. I stop halfway through these portions so that I don't cut off the final trim mark when I'm trying to cut the ends here. So we're just going to go ahead and do that, and I will try to link all the products that I'm using, if not the same thing. I think one of the most popular ones that people use on, as a swing line cutter, well, not swing line, as a paper cutter, is the Fiskars one. I don't have the Fiskars one. Probably when the blade, goes bad, or if this one breaks, I'll probably get the Fiskars one. I would not recommend using a swing line cutter, the ones that you just swing and cut, because it will cut the entire paper all the way through, which, when you reach the end, I'll probably show this to you, and it would probably make a lot more sense then. You will not be able to know where the last cut needs to go. All right, so without further ado, I'm gonna swing this and cut it. I have set it here, it is straight, and you can see that all the way here I can cut it out. So you see I have not cut the entire paper out, right? And what this helps in is towards the end, when you're trying to cut the paper away, you will be able to find the final trim mark without having it cut off. I'm just going to move this one a little bit to the side. Oh, that did not cut properly, but I think that will still work because I will have, I already messed up. See, I cut all the way to the end, which I should not have done in hindsight, but we're just gonna ignore that and go ahead and cut this, pretending that it's still there. So I do have this final one here, so it will make sense for me to cut it, but I'm not gonna cut all the way through this time, just because I do need that final trim mark over here to make sure that I'm not cutting all the way through. All right, so, and you go here. As you can see, there will be a small edge that just does get cut off, and that is intentional. I do want a little bit of the branch to show up, not completely, but, and there you have it. So this is the cutout piece. If you're using a personal wide ring planner like I am, you will need to punch holes in this, which I will also show you right now. But you know, you can actually put this in your journal as it is. It is meant to fit the personal wide, so it is slightly different from the B6 size. I believe the B6 is a little taller than the personal wide, but essentially it is very similar to the B6 size. Personal wide is slightly different in centimeters and in inches as compared to the B6, and I will put the measurements up here to show you the difference between personal wide and the B6. But I'm going to use this as a insert in my Moterm personal wide planner. So we're gonna go ahead and do the actual hole punching now. I actually like this one a little bit more than the Repesco one because I can cut A5 inserts directly without having to, oh my god, I'm spilling things everywhere. I'm sorry about that. I can cut A5 sizes without having to punch them twice in this, and that is with, you know, this kind of measurement here. It's large enough to pick an A5 paper and punch it in one go. So that's why I'm using this, and this was the only one available, so that's also part of the thing. So yeah, so we're gonna set this one to, it is currently set, I think it is set correctly. Yes, it is set for, if you're able to see, it says 51 millimeter. That's where this line is. And the only thing that I would say is not that great about this one is there is no specific guide on this side, but what I tend to do for that is I slide the paper right to these two edges, and that way I'm able to see exactly where I need to punch the hole. So since this is personal wide, it should go right here. The edges of the paper should line up, oops, sorry. The edges of the paper should line up exactly here to right here so that we can punch the hole for this one. So let me just sit down and get to punching this. I do need to adjust myself a little bit so that I can see where the holes need to go. So I have it right here and right there. I think we are good to go. And there you have it. I think, oh, I'm gonna take this one out of here. So it's right there. And I typically like putting the flyleaf in the front so that, you know, I have a little bit of privacy from what I'm actually using it for. So we're just gonna take it out and move the flyleaf around. And there you have it. There is your 2023 dashboard. And you can print this however many times you want. And it is most likely that most of the printables that you find online end up being like this, especially if they have been designed in Canva. So you don't necessarily have to purchase it from me, but this tutorial could be useful for any kind of printable that you're printing. You just need to make sure that what exactly you are printing on. So is the printable meant for a letter size paper? And if so, how do you need to scale it? Are you scaling it based on the exact measurements that is available, or do you scale from 100%? There are certain printables which do not have trim marks, and they are typically meant to be, you know, dated inserts or undated inserts that you can just cut along without having a design on it. So it might be just a single, you know, ruled paper that you can scale down from a letter size to A5 to B6 to personal wide to personal, depending on what that particular paper has been, or that printable has been intended for. So the only thing that, like I mentioned, you just need to make sure you are opening the application in a good PDF reader, and I would definitely recommend the Adobe Acrobat Reader. You need to make sure that your printer settings are set to print on the best quality possible. And of course, you need to make sure that you are printing on the paper size that has been recommended. So is it being recommended on A4 versus letter size versus, you know, A5 size for that matter? Is this meant to be printed on pre-cut paper? Those are some of the things that you need to take care of when you're printing printables. So yeah, I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I hope you've had any of your questions answered. If you have purchased this printable from me, thank you so much, and I hope you enjoy planning in your 2023 planners with some of my printables, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.